Hi everyone, it has been a while since my last video. I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. I've been a little bit busy, but you guys do write many comments and messages to me in the game asking me to make more videos, so I do really appreciate that. It does give me a lot more motivation to make these videos. Today I would like to discuss the new Season X heroes that were released a couple of weeks ago. I didn't want to make a video on this straight away as it's difficult to actually gauge much about the hero without really testing them. I do find that reading their abilities initially, you can get an idea of the position of the hero and you know, whether they're a damage or a support, but I can't really say if they're good or not, and whether you should kind of get them without testing them. But safely to say, I did recruit Tracker last week. I was lucky enough to get her pretty much maxed out, just missing skill 7 here, which is not too bad. I'm happy with that. I unfortunately did not get Wrath more than just one copy. Hopefully I get him later. I do really want to get this guy. He's looks pretty good. But I have spoken to many players who have these heroes maxed out completely, and they've given me their results of the testing so that I can actually make this video. So firstly, on the left of the screen here, I have just given some basic information so you're able to follow along. You know, the road, the role, and some basic information. And just here, I've listed all the, I guess, tested combinations that I've used or I've had a friend use to make sure that they're good. So you can check that as well while watching. So we'll first start with Tracker. I really like Tracker. When I first saw her, she sounds a lot like Major Anastasia, which you'll normally see the combination of Valkyrie, Major Anastasia, and the Nomad. But with this one actually, I like it because she is a shooter hero. So that allows you to not have to use Baneblade, because obviously Major Anastasia was a vehicle hero. So this will give you the, I guess, option to use either Valkyrie Tracker, Nomad, Tracker, Betrayed Nomad, or even Koshi. So that is good because, you know, if you don't have, you know, 5 Bane Blades or 4 Bane Blades, it's annoying to have to use a combination such as Major Anna, who's not really a damage hero and probably doesn't need Baneblade initially. So I do like the flexibility of this hero being able to offer multiple combinations, so I think that's very good. Personally, I have actually used Tracker, Betrayed, Hummingbird. I do really like that, although I'll generally use Hummingbird in the mix formation, but I'll discuss that later on. So what we can gather from this is that she doesn't actually do damage. I'm talking about Tracker here. So she does provide good utility for the backline, and this last skill especially is very, very good with Nomad. So that's during battles, normal attacks are disabled for Tracker. So as I said, no damage, but back row squad gains a buff +1 normal attack per round. Each normal attack increases the damage of their next skill by 12%, stacking up to 5 times. It's a very similar stacking ability to Major Anastasia. However, this is a +1 normal attack per round. So you already have Nomad, who hits pretty hard with the normal attacks, and then you're giving this buff as well. So I do think that's excellent. But on the other hand as well, if you don't own Nomad or you don't use Hummingbird in the mix formation, or you don't have the correct heroes for the mix formation, whatever it may be, no Baneblade, I do really like Tracker, Betrayed, and Hummingbird. So, reason for this skill here on Tracker, the first 4 turns, the skill cast chance of your 2 other heroes' 5th skill is increased by 10%. And then on turn 5, the skill cast chance is increased by 30%. So, Betrayed and Hummingbird, both their 5th skill, does have a lower percentage. So giving that increase means that they're going to get that more often. And this is quite strong. So I tested this actually in Champion Duel, I just used standard shooter parts, no Baneblade or anything, and I got good results. So actually one battle I had Tracker Betrayed Hummingbird. This is in a duel, so you know each row of an APC always has 108,000 troops per row. Now, Hummingbird had over 300,000 kills just in the first 8 turns or something. So basically eliminated the entire enemy squad by herself because of the buff from Tracker and Betrayed. So I was very shocked at that. Great, and it was not against the normal orange heroes or anything. It was against actually some Season X. So it was a good battle there. So I do recommend that one as well. But I do think more optimally you would want to use Hummingbird in the mixed formation, and then Tracker with Nomad. Any of these will do. It really depends, I guess, on what hero you have. So, you know, have Valkyrie, use this. Have Betrayed, use this. You know, if you have Koshi, obviously use that one. So that's quite simple. Now for Wrath. Okay, so this guy is very interesting. I really wish I could get this hero because I like the fact that he is a counter to healing. So this skill, reduce troop recovery for both enemy and friendly squads by 25%. Then starting on turn 4, reduce recovery for all enemy squads by 15% per turn. So that is amazing. Now I'll tell you why. So it may not be the case for many casual or average players. You may not go up against the top formations all the time, so it may not apply to you. But when I guess you are in a top alliance and maybe you're fighting, you know, the enemy president or one of the strong enemies, the most common formation that you will see currently is Gluttony, Tech Priestess, and Hummingbird. With Baneblade, it's almost undefeatable. That when you attack someone, it's huge. So it's very powerful, specifically in a base battle. Obviously, in champion duel versus a base battle, the heroes which are good for those things are very different. And even, you know, fighting on a tile or defending in a structure of some sort, again, is different. I'm talking about if your base is here and an enemy teleports right next to you and attacks you. That's what I'm talking about. The Gluttony, Tech Priestess, Hummingbird combination for that is amazing. Now, the reason for that is because specifically in a base battle, it's all about the healing factor. So I could have all 5 APC of mine defending, full defensive queue, everything, all with great heroes in them. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm completely safe. There's no way anyone's going to be able to get past all 5 APC. However, with that, I mean, they may be able to get past the first or second APC, sure. But, you know, to get past 5 strong APCs, it's going to be difficult. You know, there's no way. And I will know that by the time they get maybe to the 3rd or the 4th one, they've got no more troops left. My 3rd or 4th APC should finish them off. They won't even get to the 5th. However, this APC, Gluttony, Tech Priestess, Hummingbird, it can get through everything. Reason is, the way the battle works is, it's not as if, you know, you take on all 5 APCs at once. It goes one by one. So you could fight the first APC and your team will do damage to them. However, the healing is so big on Gluttony, Tech Priestess, and Hummingbird that by the time they beat your first APC and they're ready to face the second APC, they're almost on full troops again. So it's almost a fresh battle every single time. And when it is a fresh battle every single time, they can just go one defeat, the next one defeat, the next one defeat, and it's not as if they're taking losses in the meantime. So what I mean by that is, let's say I sent this shooter formation, Valkyrie, Tracker, Nomad. Now it's very powerful, and let's say it fought my first APC and won. well, my first APC would still do heavy damage to them, and they may only be on half the amount of troops. So if it won and then it went against my second APC, it's only half the amount of troops, and my second APC should win easily. But the problem is with this Gluttony Tech Priestess Hummingbird formation is it'll just be on max troops again. So if you understand that, that's basically the point I'm trying to make, and that's why that formation is incredible for going through bases. Now, as I said, I'm talking about bases that are maxed. So, you know, if you're just an average player, you know, I could send probably any of these formations on the screen and they'll go through your base. But I'm talking about, let's say you've got two players, both have T10 maxed, both have 5 Bane Blades, with all Season X heroes maxed. Now, how are you going to get through 5 top tier formations, all maxed with T10 heroes? It's impossible. You can't. But Gluttony, Tech Priestess, Hummingbird is probably one of the only formations that can, just because they get, well, first of all, shooters get a big attack bonus, and Gluttony and Tech Priestess just heal and heal and heal, and they have almost infinite troops. So for that reason, it's just insane. So, my main point is Wrath, anti-heal. You get where I'm going with this. He can stop this formation very well. He's basically a counter to that formation. Even if you're using something which currently the most common formation at the moment with Wrath is Kamikaze, Wrath, and Death Rider, you will see that still can lose to Gluttony, Tech Priestess, and Hummingbird. It will probably lose. But in saying that, the effect is very strong. So even if you lose, you will probably take half the troops on the other APC. So when it fights your next team, it will probably lose. So in saying that, this guy is huge, especially against that team. So I do really recommend getting him. The other hero I would say as well pairs well is Countdown, because she does have an anti-heal as well. So if you're using something like this, it's really great to destroy all the healers. I mean, I don't know about what everyone else's opinion is, but at the moment in Season X, especially with Baneblade users and people who own multiple Baneblades, I find that it's a meta at the moment to be using a really tanky fighter in the front row who's a super healer. You've got Gluttony, Tech Priestess, Canoness, even Iron Sentinel as a front row tank, and then a second row healer. It's basically the first 2 rows are going to be a super tank and a super healer, and then the third row is just going to be a pure damage dealer. And when you've got that, it's very hard to get past that formations, especially when there's multiple. So this guy, huge counter. I really like that they've brought another strong anti-heal hero, and it's very interesting to say that he also reduces, keep in mind, friendly squads by 25%. So you don't want to be stacking him with someone who's a huge healer. Heaven Redemption, probably don't want to put him there. Kamikaze is okay because he does obviously do healing, but it's okay for Kamikaze. He's not, I guess his main purpose is not to just heal. Where he does also do damage, and he also has a damage reduction on himself and the squad. So he's more of a tank than a healer, I would say. I would say a pure healer is Tech Priestess or as a Heaven Redemption, one of those. So you probably don't want to use them with this. But I mean, there's so many options at the moment that you can play around with, and probably once people figure out more things, they will change. I've even seen a few hidden formations that I may tell you about in another video that currently have the heroes from Season 2 and 3 and 4 that are really viable in Season X, and I was very surprised to see that they are actually strong. But I'll save that for another video. But overall, I'd say it's pleasing to say that both these heroes are fantastic. So it is a shame, I guess, when you enter a new season and the new season's heroes are not great. So, for example, you know, if any of you remember, or you've still yet to experience Season 4, Season 4 I think was quite disappointing. Season 2 had great heroes, Season 3 had great heroes, and then Season 4 it almost kind of took a step back. Obviously, other than Hummingbird, there wasn't much else. The rest were probably worse than the Season 2 heroes, really, so I thought that was interesting. But these ones, fantastic. So I do highly recommend to recruit them both if you can. Again, common question I get, when can I use this? For Wrath, I mean, both heroes technically, if you put them in the second row, you can get away with no Awaken skill. I would say you definitely can't use them without skill 8, so you need at least 2 copies. I would say do skill 8 first before Awaken and put them in the second row, but ideally you want Awaken because they're not back row heroes. I really only recommend a hero without Awaken if they're a back row hero, because they can kind of get away with having less troops. But these, I guess, are support, so you know, the 15% increased vehicle damage is not huge of a loss, and it's really just the amount of troops that they're losing. As long as they're alive and they're able to get the skills off, that's all that matters. So that can work, but let me know how you go. I have, as I said, I've got Tracker almost max, very exciting. She's a great hero, so look forward to that. If you guys have any other video suggestions you'd like me to make, or any other questions, let me know. Any topics you'd like me to discuss. I am hoping to get something out on the new event Oblivion and also on Eden, but will take me a while, but I'll have a look at that. Any quick topics you'd like me to discuss, such as the 2 new heroes. If you want me to make another video where I'm kind of comparing 2 heroes like this and giving some formations at the bottom, let me know. I may do that for Gluttony and Rose, as they're quite new heroes too. I don't think many people know kind of where to use them, so yeah, let me know. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I always appreciate everyone's support. If you do like this video, please like the video and subscribe. It does help me a lot, so I appreciate that. Alright, thank you so much.